Greetings, listeners, to Thrice, a horror movie podcast brought to you by Sinister Siblings, where we review a horror movie not once, not twice, but thrice. To my left is Mark.
How's that?
I was going to say that. To my right is Tracy.
Hello there.
My name's Adam. This episode, we're doing 28 years later, The Bone Temple. How's that?
Yes. Sorry for stealing your thunder.
How's that?
How's that?
There you go.
Sorry.
There it is.
Sorry,
That's all right.
Sir Lord.
Jimmy.
No,
Jimmy Adams.
it's Jimmy Adam.
Jimmy Adam, that could be a new
Yeah,
name.
that's right.
Yes. So if you haven't listened to the podcast before, the way this operates is we do our first episode based around just our own opinions based off the film we've just watched, as well as, you know, what we may have got from the trailer. Second episode we obviously have watched the film and then had our discussion. So what we talk about amongst ourselves will help inform that second viewing. And then third time around, we watch it with some external influence as well. So whether that's from people involved in the making of the film, whether that's from reviews that we've read, or whether that's from you guys, our listeners. We are trying something a little bit different tonight. What we've decided to do, we've literally just watched The Bone Temple, sorry.
Boneyard.
I'm going to keep calling it The Boneyard, I know I am. We just watched The Bone Temple, and we're actually going to release this episode tomorrow. So while the film currently is in the cinemas, so the following releases will still be as per normal. So it will be not until Bone Temples come out on streaming or onto Blu-ray. So there'll be a funny little quirk, I guess, in our release schedule in so much as we're also still working through our episodes on the first part of 28 years
Yeah.
later.
But you
So,
won't be hearing that for some time.
but that probably should still be out in the end before
Yes, it will
the
be.
Boneyard will be. The Bone Temple. It's really going to keep happening.
Call it the,
Apologies.
what was it? The ossuary.
Ossuary.
But it makes it interesting because it means that our next review of 28 years later is going to be informed by having seen the
Yes.
sequel,
Yes,
Correct.
which has never really happened.
Yeah, that'll
Correct.
be our third viewing of 28 years later. Will be influenced by this one. Yeah.
And I actually think, on the topic, that it's almost unfair to kind of review these movies independently in a way. We talked about this the other day. You were saying it's like
Well,
you
maybe.
should be able to review Star Wars on its own, and it's like that's
Yeah.
pretty hard to do, actually.
Yeah, but you could. But I stand by that. But
Would you like to tell us about the movie, Tracy?
Yes.
I will, and I'm just going to throw it out there as we're just working, going with the flow, that maybe on our third review of The Bone Temple, we can take into account 28 years later, our third review of that.
Sure.
Okay, so The Bone Temple. So it is still broadly referred to as 28 years later, The Bone Temple, though I did know in the actual opening credits of the film, it looks quite different. The Bone Temple had a completely different font and it just looked like its own movie. So the quick down and dirty overview is Dr. Kelson, so that's Ralph Fiennes, finds himself in a shocking new relationship with consequences that could change the world as he knows it, while Spike's encounter with Jimmy Crystal becomes a nightmare that he can't escape. So that's quite cryptic, actually, for a bit of an overview, but it starts to set the scene.
Quite well.
Yes. So Spike's still out in the wilderness. He's now joining the Jimmies.
Pretty much picks up directly where 28 years later ended.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
so probably should say plenty of spoilers. And because
100% spoilers.
because this is going out while it is still in the cinema, please listen to this after you've watched the movie.
Absolutely. We don't want to be held to account for anybody's lessened enjoyment
Yes.
of the film.
Go find out how lukewarm this film is for yourself.
No,
that
there,
depends
and
on-
there it is.
So that sets our tone. But
Well.
let's see where we're going to go. But from the trailer, did anybody here watch the trailer? Did that inform you? The only thing I knew about this film, really, I think, was seeing the poster, which I thought was actually an excellent poster.
Yeah, it's a really good poster.
Yeah, I thought that made me go, ooh, okay, this is going to be new, bring some different sort of like, I guess that's the thing, because in the film, they see Ralph Fiennes, or he portrays himself as a bit of a god as part of the storyline, though a devil, I guess, more to the point. And I guess that whole picture on the poster kind of encapsulates that.
Yeah, it's a
bit of
snapshot
fire
from
and
his homemade Iron Maiden film clip.
a bit of
yes.
fire and brimstone going on there.
Yes.
But that was, I think, really, I don't think, I hadn't seen a trailer for this.
I only saw sort of some teaser stuff where he was talking about his belief that the virus could be cured, and obviously showed him interacting a little bit with Samson. That was about all I knew about it.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Adam? Had you seen?
No, I think I saw some stills, and I did end up reading. I had a rough idea of the main sort of bullet points of the plot, but I knew I wanted to watch it anyway. I'm going to try. I generally, if I know I want to watch a thing, I'll maybe try to not watch the trailer. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what were your initial thoughts? Like, I think for me, like the photo, I don't know where I got that from. The film opens pretty much with Spike being initiated into the Jimmies. And so they're a gang. They're very thuggish. And yeah, it's really brutal. Like it's
It's a pretty brutal movie.
yeah, and
The Jimmies are pretty brutal.
Yeah, I actually didn't really like that very much at all. I didn't like the brutality of the Jimmies whatsoever. And I don't know. I think perhaps, I don't know, because I'm who I am. I've got to a point in my life where, to me, it's like a young boy who's like, I don't know, 12 or 13. I don't know if he's older in real life, but
Well, I think he was meant to be 12 in the first
film,
so-
yeah. So he's like, he's a young boy.
You talking about the character or the actor?
Both, I guess, but in this specific,
In the reality of the
specific-
movie.
yes, if I could get my thought out, it would be terrific. And I just
would.
kind of thought that anything else from the floor before I continue?
No, please
We're
continue.
all good? So I don't like seeing kids having to deal with that kind of brutality, even as a character in a film. I thought you could see, which I guess is a testament to his acting, he was quite traumatized. His character Spike was just like, oh my God, what have I got myself into? This is not for me. And the poor kid's traumatized by everything that goes on. And I was like, by the time they got to this really nasty scene where they just attack these innocent people in a barn, and I was just like, oh,
It's very
don't like this at all.
Like you said, about 28 years later, it was more. It did drill home that Clockwork Orange idea. They are like,
Oh yeah.
it's like a gang of bother boys, but way more brutal. And I actually liked. I don't mind violence like that if it feels in service to a story, and it kind of is. It illustrates and it needs to lay out the savagery, I guess, or the potential for savagery in this world.
Yeah.
And you kind of, and it also sets up Jimmy as a, stone cold evil.
Psychopath.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Satanic psychopath.
Yeah, 100%. But as we were watching it, I was just thinking, I wasn't even watching that part where they were like removing the people's skin or whatever they were doing. I was just like, this is not my kind of thing. End of. End of. What about you, Mark?
I'm no fan of this film. I've got grave fears that whatever the third one's going to be, it already feels like one movie's worth of ideas that they're just stretching out. Because really, the short synopsis you gave of the film is probably generous in regards to what the film was actually about. There's next to no story in this film. There's about 15 minutes worth of anything really going on. The doctor thinks he can cure the virus. He has some interactions with a infected person. Then he has an interaction with Jimmy. Then he dies. Spike's stuck with the Jimmies. Eventually gets away. That's it.
Well, I think
There's literally nothing else going on.
Why can't that be enough? Like,
Because
it's-
I just felt it just was going nowhere. Like, you could have added 15 more minutes onto the first film and just instead of cutting where the Jimmies first meet Spike, you could have just had that next bit.
yeah.
Didn't need to be another movie.
Look, I think there was a movie's worth of ideas there. I think because we saw, the Jimmies as who they are and what they do, I know you're not meant to like them, and they do serve to show the brutality of the world. But I thought Dr. Kinson's story arc, basically, because we got to know more about him.
he's a
because-
great character.
Yeah, because you go into, and even the Jimmy, Lord Jimmy or whatever says, you're so easy to talk to. And
Yeah.
and he does really convey that. He's
Yeah,
just
I wish he was my doctor.
he's just an interested, curious person. He's not really afraid of anybody. Like he sort of says, actually, he's not really afraid of anybody. He's just taking life as it comes and just seeing what he can do. And he's curious. And so that's why he's got this interaction with Samson. And I mean, that part, like I like Dr. Kinson's story where he was, when you saw him in his bunker, he's got his music and he's got his family photos. So he still is saddened by what's going on, but he's trying to sort of, I guess, pay homage with his, bone temple to all the people who have died and all of the tragedy that's gone on. But he's trying to keep himself busy and look for, a future. But I did find...
He's lonely.
So he's lonely. So I did find that fine. I was all cool with that. And then I was sort of cool with how the movie wraps up. I thought, okay, now it'll be tied back. And I reckon the third one's actually probably going to tie right back around to sort of like a 28 Days Later-esque kind of feel now the Jimmys are gone. But I found how he could bring Samson back to a logical-minded person a little far-fetched.
Well, we don't... Yeah.
So we're assuming he gave him some antipsychotic medic, and that seemed to clear him up.
So yes, because the opioid combated, like he
Calmed down
detailed
the rage
the
element.
pain in the stuff, so he was not agitated. And then the antipsychotics were breaking through the brain fog to allow him to come back through. But I kind of thought, like when Samson, he has this, remembering episode when he's back in the train, which is obviously he's had this connection with. And
that's probably when the outbreak happened.
Yeah,
He was on
yeah,
the train
yeah.
kind of thing.
And I sort of thought how the infected then turned on him because I realised he wasn't the same as them anymore.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to get turned back because they were biting and scratching and stuff, but he didn't. But then I also thought, because it's not, I think if you've been out there biting and killing and doing all kinds of horrible shit, not sure that you would want to kind of then come to. I think I'd probably be quite ignorance is bliss.
Remember we saw that film a few years ago, The Cured?
Yes.
Where they had
yeah.
that similar thing of once they'd cured the virus, how people reintegrated.
We don't know the ins and outs of what he's done to Samson. We don't know if he's fully cognizant, back to normal.
No, I don't think he's fully back to normal, but he's definitely regaining memory, regaining speech. He's no longer,
Yeah, he's
going
made some...
violent, hammer and tong.
For now, all we can say is Dr. Kelson has made some kind of ground in toward
Yeah.
treatment.
Yeah, which
And
is then tragic because no one will know.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that too. Now no one's going to know unless they find all of his paperwork in his bunker. If Spike was to go back and look around the bone, or anybody really.
Which I kind of thought was going to happen, but him
Yeah.
and Kelly just left.
I was surprised that he left him to die alone. I was really surprised by that. That he left Dr. Kinson to die on his own. Because I didn't understand
Or
that.
at least didn't put him out of his misery, sort of
Yeah,
thing.
I didn't understand that at all, how he wandered off. Like, wouldn't you either put him out of his misery if you're in that kind of
Or
world?
try and help him.
Or try and help him.
Add him to the Oscar.
Yeah,
round.
exactly.
Exactly right.
I just thought it was very strange.
Now, one thing, fill me in. Was it meant to be his dad who was the hunter person who got killed and then got turned and then killed Jimmy Crystal?
Spike's dad, like from the last movie.
Yeah.
No.
No, that was just a guy.
That was just a guy. That was a random.
That was just a rando.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
that was.
because I thought it kind of looked like maybe it was his dad.
Yeah. No.
And I might have to... Because
That's not. We're not seeing that again. We're not seeing that community.
You don't think so?
So I thought Dad maybe might be still coming from the village trying to find
Find
Spike
him.
or something.
Yeah.
No,
So you don't think we're going to see the dad again?
I don't think so. No. No.
Well, I actually kind of thought this film might end with Spike taking the girl back to the village.
Yeah. Yeah, but obviously not. Obviously, Spike's washed his hands of that.
Yeah,
He's hit the road.
He means it.
I think.
Like the littlest hobo.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, this is a post-apocalyptic movie. Like it's kind of a zombie movie, which is like that's horror, yes, but it's also a blend of sci-fi. And sci-fi at its best explores, the human condition better than any other genre, really, because it's ideas driven. And this whole movie, like, I disagree with you completely. This movie, Mark, is like a snapshot of a world in collapse. and like science versus religion. It doesn't need to be, and that is the story, science versus religion. That's the idea of this movie and the nature of evil. And I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, nature versus nurture as well, I guess,
Yeah.
in terms of breeding evil. Like, because of what happened to Jimmy when he was a child, he got messed up because of his environment. So who knows?
And it was funny too. It was a funny movie.
Yeah.
So did somebody raise Jimmy then, I'm guessing? Because he was like 8 or something when this happened.
Maybe he just bounced around, you know.
We'll
foster
never know.
homes
We'll never
in-
know. You do wonder. He's obviously had some kind of life.
He's seen some stuff.
Yeah. Like he probably, I mean, who knows the story, but I mean, it's probably, you know, if he was living in the cities, he might have lived with different groups who've kind of, you know, of street kids or whatever, or just groups of people come together in these kind of situations, ragtag groups of people. And yeah, I don't know, but yeah, he's a really evil character. Like you sort of, because he can, you know, sort of be a bit funny. Like his interaction with Dr. Kinson at the end was really quite funny, but he's just an evil, sick, evil person. Like, he's not right.
But charismatic. I love the nods to like, they were like the Manson family too. They had like the crosses on their foreheads and stuff. They
Yeah,
had,
like it
shaved
just
heads
all.
and-
But it was weird. Those masks they were wearing. I'm sure they were made out of like sneakers.
Yeah, that was sneakers. That was that was a it's cool costuming in this movie
Yeah.
too. These sort of stitched together sneakers with
Yeah.
like real teeth on them.
Yeah, weird, weird. But
I love that stuff.
But yeah, I think. I mean, I didn't. Yeah, I sort of thought the story of Dr. Kinson and him. I guess Spike making a friend, so to speak. And then getting out of his bad situation, and then traveling around, and then having that tie into Cillian Murphy and his daughter, who were living a quiet little, you know, removed life, was good. But for me, I understand the Jimmies and all of that, but I just didn't like the ultra violence. What is that? What they call it in
The
Clockwork Orange?
ultraviolence, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. That not my kind of jam. So that kind of. Like, really, I was starting to think, I don't think I can watch this film 3 times.
It was interesting because they were just evil. Like he
was
he
cruel.
thought
It
he
was
was,
cruelty.
you know, he was a Satanist. He thought, you know, Satan was his father and it was his job to provide
Yeah.
souls for his dad. So he's out there to torture and
Do you
murder.
think he did, or do you think that was just kind of the excuse he was giving?
Well, maybe that.
There was
bit
a
of
couple of
both.
times I thought
Well-
when he was all like, "Oh, let me ask him."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, thanks for that. Like, I was like, is he
Yeah.
actually?
I think it was a bit of both. I think there was a bit of belief there probably when he was younger.
Yeah.
And now it's convenient.
He and that's why obviously he went to the doctor and said,
Yeah.
"Okay, look, you're actually not the devil,
Yeah.
but I need you to pretend to be the devil because I have a thing going,
Yeah.
basically."
Yeah,
But he wasn't sure initially.
Mm.
He was like, "Oh, so you're not old."
Yeah, so I
Right,
think there was
you
an
know.
element of belief there. Because even just like when he, in the first movie, 28 years later, I think that's where we see it, is when he was a child and he was hiding in the church. And his dad obviously went bonkers and was just like, yeah, let me join your crew, and got all, you know, zombified. But he's, as a child, lying there going, oh, why have you forsaken me? Like, why has God forsaken me? And that's basically mirrored at the end when he's crucified upside down and he's thinking he's seeing his dad and going, why have you forsaken me? Why is this happening to me?
So do you reckon he is dead? If we don't, it's an off-screen death, and that always makes you go,
Yeah, well, that's the thing, potentially. He could come back as a zombie.
Got to confirm the kill. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because he's obviously been, well, not obviously, but it looks like he's been attacked by a zombie. So he could pop back up again, just as a zombie.
Isn't it lucky too that the doctor had a massive crucifix available?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I need to do some set dressing. Oh, here's a massive cross I've got.
No, well, maybe he did that because he was trying to be the devil. So he did do the upside down cross to kind of complete his set.
Oh no, I understand it, but he
Yeah.
just happened to have it.
Oh, he was pretty handy, that gentleman.
He
I'm sure
was
he could have just
handy.
knocked that up.
So do you get Walking Dead vibes from this film? I feel like they're
No.
really starting to go that the zombies aren't even what the story's about anymore.
No.
That's just
No.
a background world.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get Walking Dead vibes. I get the vibe that it's talking about bigger pieces, like bigger ideas than just it's a zombie film. But no, not Walking Dead. And I think really...
Because what I mean is, I suppose they're talking about, you know, the Jimmies are the threat. We've got these villages and independent farms and that who are minding their own business and successfully living in that world,
Yeah.
but it's other survivors who are the danger.
That's
Yeah.
always the way in the post-apocalyptic world, Mark. It's like in The Road.
Yeah.
by Cormac McCarthy. You've got different groups of evildoers who will just hunt down innocent people just trying to get along with their lives
Yeah.
and be like, yeah, no, I can farm you for
There's no
meat.
zombies in that. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's hard because it's like, I don't know. Yeah, Walking Dead went for what, 14 years or something?
Something like that.
Crazy. So within that, on some level, you're going to have seen everything that setup has to offer. So all that's left is, what you do with it, your treatment of that material, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing when you're dealing with 3 decades after the outbreak.
Yeah.
It is very hard to go, well, what is still happening? I mean, as we talked about, previously, and then you go, the zombie lore in this makes no sense. It contradicts everything this world had told us previously about how long it would take and things for different creatures to pass and this sort of stuff.
It evolved and made more robust. That's the explanation.
Yeah.
It evolved and made more robust, kind of infected.
I think we could probably talk a bit more about that when we review 28 Years Later again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a bit more that I saw about that in that film. But in terms of Bone Temple, what were your, I guess, broadly, what did you like and what was a dislike, Mark?
I didn't like any of it, I'll be honest with you. I couldn't actually pick
Or
out...
was there photography? Was there a use of
it's
music?
it's beautifully shot, and I was pleased they brought back the 20 Years later theme at the end there because
I noticed that too.
was absent from the previous one, so I was pleased with that. But look, the last film was made knowing it was going to be a trilogy, so they didn't really bother to tie it up very well. This film starts off, if you haven't seen the first film, you've got no idea what's going on.
Yeah,
so,
you'd need to see the first film
so
to see this.
Yet again, it's just like they're just building it to be one thing.
Yeah.
So as a standalone film, it is very hard to review because you've either already know what's happening basically, or you've
I think
no
with
idea.
these, we do have to view them as a trilogy because they were always designed as a trilogy. They were never designed as standalone pieces. So I think that does have to, for all of us, sort of inform it slightly, knowing that it isn't meant to be on its own. But
I would like it if they could have at least introed it a little bit. Just allow it to be a standalone film. So if it does come up on Netflix, people might go, oh, I'm interested in watching that. And rather than, would it have killed them to have had a minute of a flashback of some description, even if it was, Spike being transported to the pool, like the empty pool, if it was in that, he had a bag on his head or whatever, and they were transporting him and he was flashing back to the village and this and that and his mum, and just to go, so people have got a hope of knowing what was going on.
can I also say with that, right, I thought that whole thing was a little bit weird, like because they obviously saw him and thought he can be a member of our team. Because otherwise, why didn't they just kill him on sight, basically? Why bother save him, do all the fancy work? But then why initiate the kid? And why can you only have, I mean, I know you were sort of talking about having 7 fingers or something, but I didn't get why they had to initiate him. You either want him or you don't.
No, well...
And then later in the movie, he's like, oh, he wants the doctor to tell them he's allowed to have more fingers than what he's got. So I'm like, if you wanted more fingers in the first place, just let him join your crew.
Yeah, don't kill everyone. Stop killing people.
Stop killing everybody. Adam, so what was one of your key highlights and one of the things that you didn't like so much?
Key highlights. I think Ralph Fiennes is really good in everything that he does. I've never really thought about it much until watching this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I actually really like Ralph Fiennes. I think he's good in everything.
Yeah,
and
he's a very
I've
good
probably
actor.
never really noticed it. But I really like this Dr. Kelsom. He's very gentle, considered, thoughtful.
Yeah.
Interesting character for this world. I also really liked Jimmy. I liked all the Jimmys. They were crazy and evil and messed up and violent. I like Clockwork Orange. It's kind of one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
So I like how it sort of touched on that. I guess there is a caveat to that. I am a bit of a sucker for post-apocalyptic settings, so it is kind of my sweet spot.
What's something they could have done better?
Something that I didn't really like, and this is going to be controversial. I didn't really need Cillian Murphy showing up at the end there. That is some Marvel movie business. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's interesting. It's like, okay, they're winding it back to the first one. That's cool.
But I guess for the final one, maybe
it is
coming
cool.
back to
I don't know why
first.
I say that. I'll probably regret saying that. It did make me smile actually to see him, so maybe I redact that.
Yeah, I heard his voice and I was like, oh, it's Gillian.
Yeah. But
I actually thought he's looking good.
Yeah, he is looking good. He's a good-looking guy. And
No,
it's
I just thought-
and it is 28 years later.
Like we're not faking anything. Like he
Yeah.
was in the first one in like
Yeah.
2002.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
He's looking
Yeah,
good.
Absolutely.
That's right, totally.
Yeah.
Especially for an apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly. He's done well. It's all that
Good
clean living.
nutrition.
Yeah, exactly.
Good dental hygiene.
Out in the fields.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Good
Only in so much as it. Everything else about the Spike's journey has kind of been moving forward, and this does feel like it's circling back. Whereas it's.
But then I guess it depends on where they take it.
I
Like,
suppose
where are they going
you're
to
on
take
the
it?
island of England. I guess. What are you
Yeah.
gonna do?
Yeah.
It's only so far you can go.
Yeah, I think for me, I think I've made it really clear that the thing I didn't like was the ultra violence from the Jimmies, because I'm just not a fan of cruelty for cruelty's sake.
You didn't think they needed to
I don't
take the
think it was
shirts
for-
off.
No,
I don't think it was for cruelty's sake, though. I think it's in service to the story.
well, potentially, but I don't. You know me, Adam. I don't like that. So I found that a little bit hard. And I mean, I understand story arcs and things like that, but I just found having to witness that was a little bit full on. And I felt sorry for the young boy. But what I did like was, Ralph Fiennes, his story. I like the Ossuary, I can't say it properly, Ossuary. So the Bone Temple. I do like that idea, which I think comes through in both of these films, probably all of these films, really, if you look at them, but how death is just a part of life. And in these films, these people have really had to embrace that. So they're not really, so I kind of like those deeper themes that I think are here, however kind of broadly or opaquely, but they are definitely there. But yeah, I found it, I mean, I'm a bit of a sucker for these films. I love a British
Yeah,
drama.
the Britishness of it is refreshing too.
Yes, I do like that. I think it does bring a different element to it. But yeah, and I also wasn't a big fan of Samson coming back to life per se. I just sort of thought, really?
There's a bit of Ludo from the Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Friend.
Friend. But also I liked the reference to Duran Duran. I was like, this is cool. But okay, so I guess really, so people listening to this may, well, hopefully they've already been to see it at the cinema. And we haven't just spoiled everything for you. But what are we going to rate this one out of?
I kind of want to rate it like tracksuits. Kind of.
Yeah, you probably could, or gold crosses, or yeah,
Or,
polyester.
I don't know.
Jimmy Wigs.
Jimmy Wigs.
Blonde wigs.
Jimmy Wig. Call him Jimmy Wigs.
The Jimmy wig.
A Jimmy Wig. All right,
How
Jimmy
many
Wigs.
people have worn that Jimmy Wig over the years, you reckon? Because they were pretty happy just to go, oh, he's dead, there you go, it's your wig.
It is true what you say. It's like if you want to add more fingers to your hand, like, yeah, stop killing everyone.
Yeah,
But
like-
as to what you were saying before about why wouldn't they just kill him, it's like he offered, when he was torturing those people, he offered the last guy a chance to join the crew as well.
But to kill someone, though, to get in, though.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, why?
Well, I guess you're always wanting to upgrade. You know, you can test their metal if you can beat your...
No, but then you lose
He chose
a-
poorly, that guy.
But then you lose a person, like who was functional. They've obviously killed someone else. They're obviously out there killing zombies. They're still alive. So
That was such a good scene, that whole thing. Oh,
that what?
that was a good scene.
The barn scene.
Yeah.
Oh,
I did like with the pregnant lady how she just...
I liked her. I was like, yes, that was the part of the violence I got on board with. I'm like, yes.
I like the way... I did like the switcheroo where Spike's like, take me with you. And she just punched him in the gut.
I
Well, I
knew that
guess
was going to
you would.
happen.
You'd probably be really scared.
Yeah,
You'd
yeah.
probably be like, well, you would. You'd be like, you're one of them. I don't know if there's a big old trick. Fuck this shit.
And then the guy gets the gas cylinder and he's like, no, I'm not having it.
Yeah.
It was
Kudos
rad.
to
It was
him.
pretty rad.
Kudos to him.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't think Jimmy's getting fingers together to kill zombies. I don't think he cares about killing zombies
No,
anymore.
no, not at all. He's
No.
just out killing people.
Mm,
Innocent people.
mm,
Ridiculous. Giving them charity. All right, Jimmy Wigs.
mm.
Jimmy Wigs, Adam. How many Jimmy Wigs for you?
I'm going to give this movie, I liked it more than 28 Years Later.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's a good one, especially for a middle movie. And it's one that I would happily go back to again. I think if I was coming up with a list of like, you know, sort of post-apocalyptic dystopian movies to check out, it would definitely be one. I'm going to give it 8.5 Jimmy Wigs.
All right. Adam, 8.5 Jimmy wigs. That's okay. You can chop it how you like. They'd all chop them.
That's right, with a blunt fringe on there on the Jimmy.
It did look
wig.
like they'd had a go at cutting them.
It
as
was
well.
like He-Man. It was like a He-Man
Like
haircut.
cutting the Barbie doll hair or something.
Yeah.
Like,
making it your own.
Yep.
yes.
I did like they're all Jimmy someone except the girl who was like Jemima.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there was Jimmy Ink or something. I started to pick that up. Yeah. All right. Mark, I hesitate to ask. How many
Nothing
Jimmy
to
wigs?
hesitate to ask. It's just this. The last one didn't grab me. This one's more of the same to me. It's not my cup of tea. So look, if someone asked me, should I go see this movie? I'd say no. So for me, that makes it. I'm giving it 4 Jimmy wigs.
4 Jimmy wigs.
4 Jimmy wigs. You don't think you gave
Four
the first
Jimmy
one
wigs.
Jimmy wigs? You gave 28 years later 4 Jimmy wigs.
Yeah.
You don't think this is better than that one?
No.
Same.
Yeah, it's on par. Yeah.
Hmm.
There's so many plot holes, and it's just not what it should be. And I
Well,
can't. I
What
can't.
should it be?
It should have been more like 28 days later. We should have had energy and action and horror
Okay.
instead of bloody Iron Maiden film clips and dancing with a naked alpha.
You didn't like that?
No,
I thought that was crazy.
He was in raptures
We
when
didn't
that
even talk
happened.
about that.
it's
Yeah,
absurd.
we'll
And
talk
a lot
about
of that
next
stuff
time.
was it just didn't hit the right notes for me at all. And
Fair.
yeah, and even when you talk about the music and the Duran Duran stuff, you
Yeah.
go, it just tonally just was all over the place because you go, do you want me to laugh at this now? Is this because you have a poster that looks horrific, but it turns out it's a song and dance scenario with Cirque du Soleil effects.
Uh-huh.
It just tonally it's all over the place. Is it whose story is it even? Like is it Spike's tale? Was it meant to be the Doctor's tale? Was it like so? Who knows whose story it'll be next time round? Are we back to Spike? Will there be some other character in there now? We don't even know.
Okay. I think for me, I found it was probably on sort of par with the last one. I definitely didn't like it more. Because I just, again, as I say, like that probably first little quarter to the half with all of that stuff with the Jimmies, I was just like, I don't, this isn't my thing. And I was looking for where are the zombies? Where's the horror? Like this is horrifying, but it's just people being nasty evil fuckers to each other. I'm not down with this. But then I do really love like the Kinson story, and I sort of there are elements to it which of course we'll be discussing coming forward, where I guess talking to those tones, like there was some slight, I don't know, light humoured or just a feeling at times where I was like, oh, this doesn't sit well with me, but I don't think that it's a poor film. I think it sits as part of the trilogy. It sits as a middle film. But I think it within that had its own story arc where we learnt more about the alpha and about the virus. So I'm going to give it 7, which is I think what I gave the last one.
It is.
So just staying with that. And I guess next time when I look at it, again, I probably won't focus on the Jimmy action, but I will be looking more consistently at the story, because I don't think there's so much plot holes as leaps of thinking that you need to do or belief that you need to have. Like Samson could come back to being, a lucid person.
And at some point, he covered his manhood.
Well, I think the doctor gave him a cloth.
Oh God, it was like the forbidden fruit. Oh, now we're getting into this whole other level of this thing now.
Well, let's bring that to the next podcast.
Hang on, no, I just want to hear what his.
Well,
His genitals are forbidden
this whole
fruit.
thing is about like science versus religion, but then Samson has his own kind of
Religious.
sort of religious kind of awakening.
And
His
learns
realization,
shame.
learns shame. Yeah,
Yeah.
Or is that more about gaining humanity? Is that he covers up his nethers?
yeah.
I just noticed there was suddenly a point I was like, he's got a cloth on.
Yeah, no, the doctor gave him that. And then I think it was when he
It
gave...
got too weird dancing with a nude guy.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe there was...
just the
Anyway.
right amount of
Anyway, so yeah, next time I'll just be looking to fully understand maybe those jumps of, I don't know the word I'm looking for.
suspension of disbelief.
That's it. Yes, that's where I want to look at. What about you, Adam? What will you be looking at next time?
What will I be looking at? I guess I didn't really cover it. I guess the thing that I didn't like the most was that idea of Dr. Kelson managing to jerry-rig some kind of almost cure or, toward a remedy for the virus. Seemed unlikely. Seemed like something that would have happened back in the day with
Yes.
all our medical
Yeah.
capabilities and things. So I guess if I did have a suspension of disbelief, it's that. What am I going to look for? I don't know. I guess I'm just going to try to look at it like we always do. We're like with other people's ideas in mind. I'm going to look at it and be like, am I wrong? Is this shit? And I'm just blinded by, I don't know, my joy of like the Jimmies in velour tracksuits causing carnage and like Rad Dr. Kelson with his bone temple and
Giant phalluses.
all the sort of imagery and
Yes.
sort of conceptualization around it, It
Yes,
just hits my sweet spot.
indeed. Yes, well, yes, that's what Dr. Kinson said.
With all the time he had, he could have done something a bit more interesting than just columns, don't you think?
What do you mean?
Well, you look at the catacombs in Paris, for example, all the interesting archways and artwork.
No, he had little
Motifs?
I didn't see a lot of it, though. There seemed to just be a whole lot of columns.
Everybody has their right to
God, everyone's
artistic
a critic.
They didn't
expression.
even try and make a roof.
the architect
God.
is bone
Get
architecture.
some
Maybe
ribs.
it was like a labyrinth type thing if you looked from above.
Oh,
Maybe
you reckon
it
it
was
spelt out help or something?
Yeah, or it was communicating with aliens or something. Who knows?
Well, what I'm going to look for is whatever you guys are seeing that I'm not seeing.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much where I'm going to be at, because you go, I want to like these. I have a real affection for the first two that were back in the day.
Mm.
I've got a horrible feeling that as time goes by, they'll just be the two I'll acknowledge as being this in this world, and this trilogy will just be a something that you go, it exists, but
But I mean, like,
it's not part of the first two films. It doesn't really
but
connect.
the
with me.
second one isn't part of the first one, like at all. 28 weeks later has nothing to do with 28 days later.
Well, it does.
There's no characters in it. There's no. It's it's
Yeah, but it's basically
all
it's
new-
essentially the same event, and it's happening in the same space.
So is this?
Yeah, this is just happening 28 years later.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's so poor compared to the other two that I think I'm just going to end up going. I'm not going to like if I was introducing that to people, I wouldn't go, "Hey, it's like 5 movies." I'd be like, "You can watch these ones," and then this was another.
See, I wouldn't
idea.
recommend people watch 28 weeks later.
No, me either. Really.
I didn't like that at all. I mean, 28 days later is classic. Stone cold classic. Whereas 28 weeks later.
So Robert Carlyle was great in 28 Weeks.
Oh,
Later.
he's always great. It's Robert Carlyle. But that doesn't mean the movie was.
Mm.
But anyway, I
But
digress.
yes, but I shall look to see whatever it is that makes Adam give it 8.5.
Mm.
I mean, that's right up there.
You know why? Because it's a major studio film, and I feel like it's pretty brave filmmaking. Alex Garland's been given the keys back. He's writing whatever he wants. He's ahead of the curve with this one, I swear.
Okay. Alrighty. There we have it,
Well,
folks.
like I said, this is going out hot.
It is.
So please,
Manana.
if you have a listen, whether you're on my side of things, whether you're on Adam's side of things, let us know.
Please do jump on Facebook. You can find us at Sinister Siblings on Facebook or on Instagram. So please head on over there, leave a comment, and don't forget to like and follow us. And also, while you're doing that, head over to wherever you're listening to this podcast from and be sure that you're giving us a follow and a subscribe and that, you share our podcast so more people can hear it and we can have more discussion about these great films.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Indeed.
All right, how's that?
How's that?
How's that? Memento mori. Remember death.